And hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Rebellion. So, didn't I just take this thing down? Yeah, pretty sure I just did. Um, hmm, well, we'll have to take it down again. um, and as you can also see, this place has been decorated a lot for Christmas. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's white stuff on the ground. Some people know it as snow. Um, there's a little snowman, some candy canes, and then over here, something that I hadn't noticed before, and I don't know actually how long it's been there, but this right here is so pretty. I should punch it. I'm not gonna. That'd be mean. But yeah, this looks awesome. I like this. It's a nice little shrine and a little garden. It's nice. Anyway, I am gonna go over there and take care of the second wreath on my place. And once this way, right? Yeah. Once I am done with that, I will probably get started a little bit on the back staircase piece that I have. And just like right back here, just get started on the basics, get it started going out and around. Yeah, and I'll be back with you guys in a bit. Bye! Alright guys, so I know I did very little talking today. Most of it was all building. I'm assuming at this point you guys have seen a sped up version of me building because that was a lot of building. But yeah, so I kind of made this impromptu, I'll just talk about what I did really quickly. I made this little impromptu little balcony area thing, and I think what I did with this little archway looks really cool, both from outside and from inside. And then up here I have this little thing. Yeah. Just kind of covering the whole thing. Obviously it'll have to change as it winds around. And I ended up making this one leading up to the second floor, which I think is at the right level that I want it at. It needs to be high enough to cover the redstone. I might have made it one too high. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that. And then over there will probably be the third level. Again, that looks like it's too close to the one I'm currently at. I don't know. I'll take a look at it later, and it'll probably be fixed by the time I record the next episode. But, yeah. I don't know how much you guys enjoy watching me build stuff. I don't know if it's very entertaining, but here it is. Yeah. I also went through and made all these little window areas, made some like it on this windy staircase, and then made some little alcoves there. So one thing I might change later on, this one it's going to be kind of hard to do this with just because of the winding staircase that's right above that one, but this one I might have it, instead of like having this here, just have, I don't know, this. It's still kind of intrusive. I don't know. I'll figure something out, and then have this like jutting out into its own little mini tower or something. I don't know. I think that would look kind of cool, but I'll play with that. I'll play around with that, and then I might do the same like over here or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see what else I do with this sort of home thing I have going on. Yeah, whoops. I fall a lot. It's okay. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!